Think the Arctic is just a frozen wasteland. Think again. Northern Russia, long known for its icy extremes, is now at the center of one of the world's most ambitious infrastructure expansions. Russia and China have teamed up to transform the Arctic into a major trade corridor through the development of the Northern Sea Route, or NSR, and they're not holding back. Massive dredging operations are underway, pulling millions of tons of soil from the seafloor. A major terminal is under construction that will one day handle 100 million tons of oil, one of the world's most vital resources. This isn't some small-scale effort. It's part of a $100 billion megaproject that includes everything from power stations to newly built villages, all designed to support this Arctic trade route. Connectivity isn't a problem either. Russia is laying down thousands of miles of fiber-optic cable across the tundra. In short, the Arctic may be cold, but it's heating up fast, economically and geopolitically. But this surge in activity isn't going unnoticed. The United States and Canada aren't exactly celebrating this shift in the global trade landscape. And for good reason. The NSR could challenge one of the world's most important trade passages, the Suez Canal. Let's zoom out for context. The Northern Sea Route isn't new. It's been in use since the 1930s. But until recently, it played only a minor role in international shipping. In 2022, just over 34 million tons of cargo passed through the NSR. In 2023, that figure crept up to 36.2 million tons, a record, yes, but still tiny compared to its rival. That same year, the Suez Canal moved roughly 1.5 billion tons of cargo, even while facing serious disruptions. The disparity is staggering. So what's holding the NSR back? Ice. Lots of it. Despite recent warming trends, the Arctic remains frozen for much of the year. In many stretches, the NSR is navigable for only about 2 months annually without the help of icebreakers. The Suez Canal, by contrast, is ice-free year-round. Russia, however, has a solution: its fleet of powerful icebreakers. As of early 2025, Russia operated 34 diesel-electric icebreakers and 8 nuclear ones, more than any other nation. These icebreakers regularly guide cargo ships along the Arctic's treacherous waters. In 2023 alone, Russia's nuclear fleet completed more than 730 escort missions. One notable operation involved the rescue of a bulk carrier named Gingo, which had capsized while carrying over 160,000 tons of iron ore. It took 13 days, but the mission succeeded, proving the fleet's crucial role. Still, even with this support, the NSR can't yet match the cargo volumes of the Suez Canal. The infrastructure and natural limitations are just too great for now. But that may be changing. Climate change is shrinking the Arctic ice cap, opening up longer windows for navigation. Researchers say this trend could eventually reduce the need for constant icebreaker assistance, lowering operational costs and making the route more attractive. And here's the kicker: the NSR is significantly shorter for certain routes. Take Tokyo to Hamburg, for example. The NSR cuts that trip to about 8,000 miles compared to 12,400 miles through the Suez Canal. That's a big deal. Meanwhile, trouble is brewing for the Suez Canal. The Red Sea region, which it feeds into, has become increasingly dangerous. Pirate attacks, missile strikes, and political unrest have all disrupted shipping. In 2024, just over 13,000 vessels passed through the canal, a 50% drop from the previous year's 26,000. That kind of uncertainty is pushing companies to consider alternatives, and the NSR is looking more viable by the day. Let's dive into one key hub of the NSR, the Bay of Ob, home to the Sabeta port. It's central to the Yamal LNG project, a joint venture between Russia and Chinese investors. Liquefied natural gas produced here is shipped directly via the NSR to international markets. By 2019, Sabeta was already moving nearly 20 million tons of cargo annually. But Russia had bigger plans. The largest dredging effort in Russian history was launched to deepen and expand the Bay of Ob's sea channel. In 2020, a multinational fleet of dredgers and over 1,000 workers removed more than 1.1 billion cubic feet of soil from the seabed in just 79 days. The aim? To make the channel accessible for Yamal-class LNG tankers, giants that measure nearly 1,000 feet long and carry up to 80,000 tons of cargo. By 2030, project leaders expect the channel to accommodate up to 9 such vessels per day, drastically increasing throughput. Now head east to Dixon, Russia's northernmost settlement. Just 25 miles away, a massive oil terminal is rising, Bukta Sever. Construction began in 2021 with the delivery of 20,000 tons of cargo and materials by ice-class ships. Phase 1 included docks, storage areas, workshops, and coastal reinforcements. As of early 2025, work is well into its next phase, which includes 2 oil loading piers and the backbone infrastructure of the Sever terminal. Once completed, it will feature 102 oil storage tanks and an annual capacity of 100 million tons. That would make it Russia's largest oil terminal, right in the Arctic. Feeding this giant facility is another huge project, Vostok Oil. With a $100 billion price tag, it's developing Arctic oil fields that will feed directly into Sever. A 248-mile pipeline is planned to move the oil, supported by 13 new power plants and over 4,300 miles of transmission lines. Plans also call for 15 new towns and 2 airstrips to support the operations. Will all of it be built? That remains to be seen. But even if only the core infrastructure is completed, including the port and pipeline, it will mark a massive leap forward for the NSR. Then there's the Polar Express, a 7,800-mile-long underwater fiber-optic cable stretching from Murmansk to Vladivostok. Russia is already producing the necessary cable at a new facility in Murmansk. The goal is clear, to ensure that every inch of this Arctic corridor is connected and operational. International players are taking note. The United Arab Emirates, through its global port operator DP World, signed a 2021 deal with Russia's Rosatom to co-develop the NSR. Their efforts include modernizing the port of Vladivostok and enhancing Murmansk, both key entry and exit points along the route. China, meanwhile, is deeply involved. It launched the Polar Silk Road in 2017, the Arctic branch of its Belt and Road Initiative. Through this, China has poured money into Arctic ports like Sabeta, Arkhangelsk, and others. In Arkhangelsk, it's backing a new terminal for large vessels, along with a 500-mile railway linking the port to inland Russia, further integrating the NSR with China's global trade network. All these projects are pushing toward an ambitious goal: 220 million tons of cargo annually along the NSR by 2035. That's over 6 times the 2023 total of 36 million tons. Is it achievable? Maybe, but it'll require everything to go right. Reduced ice, lower costs, better infrastructure. All of that is working in Russia's favor. A typical journey from China to Europe via the NSR could take just 19 days, compared to 48 days through the southern route. Plus, there are no pirates in the Arctic and no missile strikes to worry about. Still, the competition isn't sitting idle. The US and Canada have access to their own Arctic path, the Northwest Passage. But they're far behind in ice-breaking capabilities. The US hasn't designed a new heavy icebreaker since the 1970s. Its only operational one, the aging Polar Star, is nearly 50 years old. A new vessel is under development, but the project is years behind schedule and 60% over budget. Canada is faring slightly better, with 9 icebreakers in service and 2 heavy ones under construction. But neither country currently has the capacity to challenge Russia's Arctic dominance. This imbalance is raising alarms in Washington. China's Arctic ambitions are also on the radar. It operates research stations in Norway and Iceland and has made moves to gain influence in Greenland, offers that were ultimately blocked with help from Denmark. So where is all this heading? The NSR is no longer just a Russian fantasy. It's shaping up to be a genuine alternative to traditional trade routes and possibly a serious rival to the Suez Canal. But its future depends not just on engineering and logistics, but also on geopolitics. And in the Arctic, as in the rest of the world, politics can shift as fast as the ice.